Okay, so then let's get started with this. And we talk about this. So cell cycle. So what is the cell cycle? In other words, the cell cycle is what the cell is doing basically every single day. So then what is it that the cell is doing every day? The cell is doing two main things. Number one, the cell is working, doing whatever the cell needs to do. And number two, the cell is going to divide. Okay, division. Okay, so working means, for example, we talk about the cells that we have in the skin. What are they doing? Well, right now, the cells in your skin, they are protecting you, right? Protection. That's the job of the cell, right? That's what they're doing. They're protecting your body, right? Your skin. And then it just happens that, let's say, they're protecting, but, unfortunately, I don't know, let's say you cut your skin. Okay, so then what is the cells are going to say? Well, we need to create more cells in order to cover that gap that you have because you cut your skin, right? So therefore, you need to get more cells, right? Through cell division, you need to get more cells in order to repair the cut, right? That's what we need to do. So therefore, the cell was working, right, protecting your skin. Unfortunately, you cut your skin, so the cell needs to say, okay, well, we need to stop working because we need to create more cells in order to repair the cut that we just suffered. Okay, so therefore, basically, what is the cell cycle? The cell cycle is composed of two things. When the cell is working, doing whatever the cell needs to do, and the other part is going to be when the cell is dividing. What you have right here is this part. So number one, when the cell is working, this one right here. So when the cell is working, is what you have right here, basically. All this from here to here. That's it, from here to here. That's when the cell is working, right there. And we said the other part of the cell cycle is when the cell is dividing. This one right here. Cell division, right? So we need to create more cells so we can repair the cut. So that cell division is this part from here to here. Right there in green. So this in green is this when the cell is dividing. And this one in red is when the cell is doing whatever the cell needs to do. Okay, now the entire thing, so then the cell cycle, the entire thing, the cell cycle is going to be all of it. Right, the red part is when the cell is working, okay? So then that's going to be divided in G1, S, and G2. Next concept in here. You have one cell, okay? And in this cell, you're going to have your nucleus, and in the nucleus, you have DNA. To make a long story short, so we need to create more cells, right? You have one cell, and this cell is going to divide, it's going to give you two cells right there, two cells. So here's the DNA, and I'm going to put the DNA right here, DNA. Okay, so how many chromosomes you get from the DNA? Well, you're going to get in here 46 chromosomes. So your DNA is going to give you 46 chromosomes. Now, a human cell has 46 chromosomes. So if you're going to put the DNA in here, that means that this is going to have 46 chromosomes. And this one is going to have 0. And that's a problem. Now, you may say, what about if this one gets, half and the other one gets half? So what about if this one gets 23 and this one gets 23? Well, that's a problem too, because we know that human cells have 46. So then therefore there's a problem here. What's the problem is that we do not have enough chromosomes in order to put into different cells. First step that we're going to have in here is that we're going to get these 46 that we have right here, and we're going to copy this 46, and we're going to create another set of 46. Another set of 46. Okay, now we have two sets of 46. So this 46 will go here, and this 46 will go here. And that way we solve the problem. The process by which you create DNA, you copy DNA from DNA, so you can have two sets for each one of the cells that you're going to create. That process is going to be called replication. Imagine that you're having here, as you know, but in your cell, you're going to have mitochondria. So here's the mitochondria right there. How many mitochondria you have? Let's say you have one. Okay, you put a mitochondria here. So what about this cell? That's a problem too, right? So therefore, we need to create another mitochondria. Imagine that you have, you also have, lysosomes. So here's the lysosome. You put that one in here. Then what about this one? So it's the same problem, right? All the time. So then what are we talking about in here? Then what we are saying is, yes, it is true. We need to create another, we need to create two cells. But in order to create two cells, the idea in here is that we need to do what? We need to create two sets of everything. We need to double everything. That way, one set goes to this cell. And since you created doubles of everything else, then the other set can go over here. Otherwise, you will not have enough to have two cells, right? I mean, what are you going to do? Create more out of the air? Obviously not, right? So then for that reason, the main thing that we need to do is if we want to create two cells, what is the first step? Before we actually create two cells, we need to double everything. So we can have two sets of everything. So one set goes to this cell right here and the other set goes over here. Then in the cell cycle, you're going to have G1, which is this one, when the cell is working. Then what happens in here? You cut your skin. So now your cell is going to prepare by creating doubles of everything. So what is this? S. S is creating doubles of DNA, which is this one. That's S. What is G2? Creating doubles of everything else, which is this one right here. Now you go like this, and like this, and now you're going to end up right here. What is that? Now is when you are ready to start the cell division. At this point right here, now you go through this, and that's when you're going to get in here. So that's going to be the M phase. In here, you have one cell at the beginning of it, and at the end of the M phase right here, you're going to get 1 and 2. So that's what we have right there. Okay, the M phase. So then that's the cell division. Okay, that's when the cell is going to divide. The cell division is going to have steps. Actually, cell division phases. What are the phases of the cell division? Number one, always prophase, then metaphase, then anaphase, and then telophase. Okay, as you can see right there. Those are the steps of the cell division. If we look over here, everything that happens in your cell when the cell is working, that is going to be interphase. So remember we said the cell is working, that's going to be interphase. So this is working. What is this one? You cut your skin and now you need to go to this part, which is going to be what? Cell division. You got it? So remember this, and what is all this? This is cell cycle. So right here is when the cell is working. Right here is when the cell says, okay, oh, we got the skin. Okay, we need to start producing, double of chromosomes, double of everything. That's why in here you see S phase, G1 and G2, et cetera, et cetera. Right, once you finish with that, now you are ready to go into cell division right there. In here, as we mentioned before, there's going to be 4 phases, right? Right here, what is this? Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. One thing that you need to remember or you need to understand is that these chromosomes that you have right here, what you receive from your dad and from your mom and what makes us humans is going to be DNA. The DNA can be seen in 2 different ways. Chromatin, as you can see right here, and chromosomes, which are these ones kind of like X in there. That is the same thing that you have right here. Okay, so then what is the DNA? The DNA you can see it 2 different ways. You can see in the form of chromatin or you can see in the form of chromosomes. Chromatin is what you have during interphase when the cell is working. And chromosomes is what you have when the cell is dividing. You think about it, this is metaphase. Metaphase starts with the letter M, and M for middle. M is for the middle. So then where do you find your chromosomes during the metaphase? In the middle. Now, I told you that when the cell divides, you're going to have chromosomes right here. Okay. And in here, I said, do you have chromosomes in here? No, in here is going to be chromatin. You don't have chromosomes in there yet. When the chromatin condenses, you're going to get that. I mean, if you don't have chromosomes, what happens from here to here? The chromosomes are being formed right here in prophase. In the prophase, you're going to start creating the chromosomes. Okay. What happens during the next step, during the next phase, during the metaphase? Well, the chromosomes were created right here in the prophase. What happens during the metaphase? Now the chromosomes are in the middle. Now what happens after this? Then you go over here. Since the chromosomes were in the middle, now the chromosomes are being pulled towards each side. In this case, the chromosomes are going to the top and the chromosomes are going to the bottom. And that's going to be the anaphase. What happens during the next stage, during the telophase? The chromosomes already reach the poles and the nucleus is being created right there. Now, let me show you this. These chromosomes are these black lines that you see right here. You see how the black lines are in there? And this one right here is the cell more or less like that. And here the chromosomes in black. Now, in this figure right here, in the other figure right here, you can see the chromosomes in black right here. You see how they're Here are the chromosomes, and here are the chromosomes. You see how they are being pulled this way. This one's how they're being pulled this way. They're being pulled from where they were right here in the middle. And right here, you can see that they actually the chromosomes in one side and the chromosomes on the other side. Anaphase, you can see that right here, that chromosomes are traveling from there, and here's the cell right there. Right here, you can see that there are two cells because look, you can even see there is now a gap in there. So you see here's one cell right there. There's a cleavage, you see that? Right there. And this cleavage right here, this cleavage right there. And the chromosomes are right here in the poles. So therefore, this is going to be telophase. You see the cleavage. In here, there's no cleavage. Right there, right? There's nothing in there. And the chromosomes are being pulled towards the poles. Right here, the chromosomes are you can clearly see that they are in the middle. And right here, there's a nucleus in here, and the chromosomes are going to be inside. So what is this one? Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Now, guys, what I want you to understand is another thing. Look, this is a very tiny picture, but you can see here. This is one cell. This is another cell. This one is another cell right there. You can see this one is another cell. There's another cell right here going like that. There's another cell going like this. There's another one going like that, right? There's a whole bunch of cells in there. When you're looking at this, you're looking at just one cell. This is one cell. And this is one cell. And this one right here. Eventually, there are going to be two cells, but at this time, this one is still one cell.